Good evening, everybody. Happy weekend to you. Happy Sunday, and happy June. We are in the first weeks of June. So it is summertime where I am. It's really been nice out. So I decided to do a reading tonight. And I felt like doing a pick a card reading. I felt like there was a message that wanted to come out. And I really like doing pick a cards. I do enjoy even like, when other readers do pick a card readings. I think it kind of gets your intuition going to kind of see like what messages may come out for you. Now, sometimes maybe more than one pile will resonate or more than one card. So just use your intuition and, have fun. But so the focus of this reading is going to be like, what do you need to focus on most in your life right now? Or what, what does Spirit guide you to focus on? So I have 3 cards here from one of my favorite Oracle decks. So we have number 1. Number 2 is the middle. And then number 3 is this one. Okay, so now number 1, 2, or 3. So let me put these, I'm gonna leave number 1 here. So just take a minute, make your choice. Let me just put these over here so I remember which one is which. Now I did get some new neighbors, so we'll see. They're a little noisy, so we'll see how this works. All right, so now number 2 here, number 3. Okay, so now make your choice, number 1, 2, and 3. Now, before I do get started, there is a message that I feel wants to come out for the collective, for all who are watching this. There were 3 cards that fell out of the deck. The 3 of Wands, the Hierophant, and we also have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. So now for all who are watching this, there is a message. It feels like, first of all, for all, there's an energy coming out with this Hierophant and the 6 of Pentacles reversed of boundaries. Be aware and be mindful, I feel like, of what you are giving to others. It's kind of like, this is really, for me, the 6 of Pentacles reversed. For me, it's feeling like boundaries, like how much you're going to give, what you're going to say yes to and no to, these kinds of things. Like, let's say it's something where you get invited to like many things at once, and mentally, emotionally, you just kind of need a day to yourself. So this kind of goes into like people pleasing. So what you should do is maybe tell whoever or whomever is inviting you, you know what, today is not a good day. If you're not feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You need to be true to yourself. It's like an energy of not people pleasing. So like if you need a day to yourself, some time to yourself, don't be afraid to say no and just be like, you know what, as much as I would love to come today, you know what, I need a day to myself. I need to rest. I need to kind of tend to myself. I have some work around the house to do. It's okay to do that. So this is about setting proper and healthy boundaries, I feel, in your life. But with that, it's kind of like rooted in this particular case. It's feeling more like what you're going to give to others. So there's an energy of kind of with this Hierophant. He's saying to me, like, I feel like give to people that reciprocate with you. Keep your life, keep the people, keep the relationships in your life balanced. But more importantly, it's like what you're giving out to others. That's what you are in control of. And if there are people in your life, be them friends, family, boyfriends, girlfriends, romantic interest, these kinds of things, if they are not kind of keeping the scales balanced with you, either you are giving too much or they are not giving enough, either way, the scales need to be balanced. So, that's something that you're in control of at all times. And that's sometimes a hard lesson that a lot of us do need to learn, like kind of accepting personal responsibility, like for our relationships, for what we tolerate in our life. So this is about, I feel, but also what we tolerate from ourselves too. Things like people pleasing. So it's kind of an energy of, I feel, set boundaries on what you're going to give, what you give out in the coming weeks, months, at this time. There's kind of like an energy of, how do I say this? There's two messages coming out. It's, again, give to, people who reciprocate with you. But this Hierophant is also saying too, there's an energy of like, he's almost posing a question. It's almost like, well, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, this can be with relationships, with a job in your life, whatever it may be. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you're still feeling unfulfilled, then that means that you need to make a change. You need to make a decision. That's the 301. Like, this is discernment, making healthy choices. So this Hierophant is kind of like, you can't get blood out of a rock. There's also an energy here of, I feel, lower your standards for no one. There's kind of like this energy of, with this Hierophant, of, it's specifically with the Six of Pentacles coming out with what you're giving out and what you're doing. Emotionally, materially, financially, etc., etc. I also feel here there's an energy of like, respect yourself. Like, when you make a decision, stick to your guns, own your choices as well. The Hierophant is kind of a card for me too of kind of rules, like kind of action consequences or choice consequences. So keep that in mind in the coming days. Okay, but now let's get to the messages. So let's get these back in the deck. So, all right, so let's do number one. So card number one. So for those of you, welcome to number one. So we start off here with fire. So I feel what you at this time need to most focus on, this for me is your passions. It's feeling like an energy of, this can be your job, a relationship. For me, it's more feeling like something creative or an endeavor, a career that you're looking to establish, a business that you're looking to establish, maybe like a way of life, I'm feeling also for some of you like you would like to be financially stable as well. It's kind of like an energy of, how do I say this? Like making your dreams, making your dreams a reality, but it's more like honing your skills in order to become like maybe an expert in your field, making those mistakes in order to kind of learn from your weaknesses, if that makes sense. So like, let's say some of you out there, let's say you're like a musician, okay? So I'm a musician, okay? It can be an artist. Let's say it can really be anything, like an accountant, an entrepreneur, something like that, right? In other words, you need to hone your craft. Maybe some of you are also out there, intuitives, okay, like me, and you're trying to hone your skill. Whatever this is to you, there's kind of an energy of a passion coming through, okay? But if it's something like creative or even like a business, right, you're gonna need to hone those skills. And with that comes making mistakes. So something like that I do, like my violin playing, let's say, right? It took some years to kind of get to the level that I am at, right? In other words, you have to hone your craft. You have to practice, or you need to, in other words, make some mistakes. Kind of look like a fool sometimes. But now I remember one time, I was playing a concert. You know, there's always like pressure in a concert, sometimes, especially like, let's say you're with a new group. And, you know, one time I came in wrong. Now, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially in rehearsal, will come in wrong. But it's an energy. See, that's where you learn, and it's there's nothing wrong with it. You know, of course, you can't keep doing it, right? But that's how you learn. And like, don't be afraid. I feel like I need to say, like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't worry so much about perfection. It's more an energy of honing the craft, you know, and like honing a craft takes some time. It also takes dedication, but there's like an energy too of what comes from the heart really comes naturally, you know? So let's say you're like really good with your hand. Let's say you're like a sculptor, something like an artist, right? But it comes from the heart and you really love it. Okay, working on it is not going to be, it's not going to feel like work, right? But maybe like the best thing for you would say, like, let's say you have no mechanical expertise whatsoever. So like someone like me, like I know, I don't know, like let's say when the car has an issue, I will go to somebody who is more mechanical, right? So maybe being a mechanic is not the best thing for me. I'll leave that to, I have, you know, one very close friend who's a very good, you know, like he could fix anything, really. Very good with like cars and stuff. That's his thing. He can build things. He can fix things around the house, build this and that, right? So I'm not going to sit here and kind of put energy into something that I know I'm really not that passionate about. So that's some food for thought. Now let me just get some tarot to go with it. That's what I was picking up intuitively. So please, dear angels, dear God, the universe, what does deck number one, what do those who are watching this need to focus on? The Fool. Well, what did I just, so see, there's an energy of, I feel less perfection and more taking those risks. It's kind of an energy of don't expect perfection right away. If you're a now it's a, what I mean when I say this is it's kind of, yes, pay attention to detail, but you can't not take risks. If you don't take risks, if you don't put yourself out there, you don't get anywhere in life. So I'm feeling this is more going with confidence. That's the kind of energy, especially if it's like a business, if it's, you know, something dealing with people. You need to be confident and just kind of do it, but you also need to not be afraid to make mistakes. Absolutely, this is an energy of taking a risk, like focus on your, I'm feeling more like passions, money making. Can even be hobbies as well. Even hobbies, you know what, that you just enjoy, you know, that make you feel good, you know, that nurtures the soul too. You know, you can't just kind of grind yourself down to the bone. You know, like even let's say it's like something that you're not so good at, right? Like maybe you're like an artist, right? But maybe your work, you know, is maybe like me, like I'm not the best drawer, right? But let's say if I like to draw and it makes me feel happy, I don't need anybody to sell it to, or it doesn't matter because I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? That's more what this is feeling as well. It's to like nurture the soul. The Star. 150,000%. Wow. 2 major arcanas coming out here with this. So this is an energy, I feel, whatever this kind of career, passion, hobby is, you need to do it because it's, I feel like this is an energy of it balancing out your soul here. It's good for your soul. And for those of you who are kind of like starting a business or like trying to get yourself established, now's the time. You need to focus on that. Stay in balance, of course, but it's feeling like the focus should be on that, not on, I don't know, like frivolous relationships, friendships, friends who aren't there for you, this and that. There's an energy of, I feel, again, don't grind yourself down to the bone, but I feel like it's an energy too of hobbies, like do what you enjoy, to make time to smell the roses, if you know what I mean. Don't forget that. Because otherwise you kind of become drained, and that's the thing with fire energy. It's very good in moderation, but in excess, you can become burned out. And that's what you don't want to do. That's the kind of drawback or the negative side of this card. Okay? Let me see what else kind of wants to come out. See, so here's an energy, the Six of Cups is making me feel like an energy of, but I don't want to do it unless it's perfect, or I'm not where I want to be. Oh God, everybody else has everybody else. Don't worry about everybody else. If you're not happy in the moment, you're not going to be happy even when you get it. It's kind of, don't get hooked, I feel like, on destination addiction. Just do your thing and go with the flow. Make improvement. It's kind of like, don't get discouraged. Do what you're going to do and just do it well. Do it to the best of your ability. And there's a quote kind of coming across, when you know better, you do better. Okay? But the only way you're going to know better is if you start doing things and maybe making some of those mistakes. But if it's an energy like, don't sit and feel sorry for you. Don't compare your life to others either. Their successes to your successes. Just do your own thing, and things will fall into place. Be unique. Be yourself. Yeah, 100%. This is a call for you, Three of Pentacles, to focus on the hobby, the career, the job, whatever your passions are. Okay? Whatever that idea is, do it. But make it a reality. Okay? Instead of like procrastinating about if it's going to be perfect or not, this and that. Nothing is ever perfect. Okay? We should strive for things, to be perfect, to look nice, to, be as good as they can be. But don't get lost in that. In other words, like, because then things will never be good enough and you'll never be happy. So be mindful of that, okay? Okay, so that feels like the end of deck number 1. So now let's go to deck number 2. I'm sorry, deck number 2. Card number 2. Let me put that over there. Okay, so here's number 2. So what is number 2? Oh, so for those of you who chose number 2, we have 10. Now this is feeling to me very emotional. There's an energy, it feels like there are some things in your life that require you to, it's feeling like pruning a garden, almost like the garden that I have out here, like tying up loose ends. This can even be, like when you tend to a garden, when you prune a flower, what you're doing is you're kind of like picking up or, taking out weeds, in other words, things that kind of suck you dry or suck your life dry. There's also, like when you prune, say like a rose bush or something, what you're doing is you're taking off like the dead ends, dead flowers. So it's kind of, I feel there's an energy to think about what in your life, be it people, jobs, anything really, maybe habits that you have, that are not to your highest good, that are not serving your, like a greater purpose for you. In other words, something that's kind of a leech in your life, not benefiting your life. What is it that needs to be removed? You know what this is. It's almost like you need to kind of take a step back and look at your life and tend to your flower, which is you. This feels like it can be a relationship. It can be... Okay, so let's get some tarot on this. Three of Pentacles is coming. So there's an energy, it feels like you really do need to put some effort towards this. It's feeling like some of you, it can be like a toxic job. Maybe like a job that is no longer serving you, or perhaps like a work schedule, sleep schedule. It just feels overall like you need to kind of tend to your schedule, I keep feeling like the sleep habits, like what time you wake up in the morning, what time you go to bed. Also energy of like work-life balance is coming out as well. I'm also feeling like an energy too of like when it comes to your emotions, it feels like, okay, how do I say this? Like if you have way too much time on your hands, something like that. Like if you're using your time to think, overthink. That is a toxic habit. There's an energy like, not like use work or anything to avoid, but it's an energy like, almost if all you do is think about this, that, and the other thing, what went wrong, what this and that, or what's gonna come, you're wasting your time. So it's feeling like tend to that, tend to your emotional needs as well, and adjust accordingly. Let's see what else is here. Oh, this is definitely like energy of finances, job, with the Queen of Pentacles. What it's feeling like is more like tending to things that are going to make you cutting the loose ends in your life. Again, now this can mean cutting people out of your life that are not good for you. Jobs, this and that, friends, bosses, whatever it is. It's an energy of tend to your plant so that you can become stable. This Queen of Pentacles, whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter. This is an energy of emotional and financial stability. And I feel it's more emotional, and when you tend to your emotions, deal with anything that maybe you've been avoiding, repressing, this, that, and the other thing, that's going to lead to you becoming more stable overall. Financially, emotionally. I feel like the love play, like when I say love, meaning like your emotional state, that leads to stability in every aspect of your life, all aspects of your life. When you're solid emotionally, and surrounded by good people, that really makes the difference. Let's get another card here. Look at this, the King of Cups. What's this card that's sticking out over here that I feel these two want to come out? Ooh, the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Swords together. This is definitely, it's an energy like, if there are things in your life that are not working, people who, I'm feeling like it's, especially with this King of Cups, it's an energy of like, especially with this Knight too, people who are not reciprocating with you, you need to place a boundary there. Like this for me feels like a snipper, like a cut, kind of tending to this flower. But I also feel like it's an energy of who you're giving your energy to, what you're giving your energy to, you need to tend to as well. Let's say you're like checking up on somebody, this and that, who really, I don't know, who's been avoiding you, this and that. Don't focus on them. It's feeling like really cutting the loose ends in your life so that you can achieve your stability or maintain your stability. Some of you, maybe you have done this already and this is like confirmation for you. A lot of you that, I'm also feeling like it's an energy too of tending to yourself. Again, it's like kind of going back to that, your routine, like how much you work, when do you sleep, when do you have time for you, when do you make time for your friends. It's feeling like kind of cutting loose ends. And again, like making equal time for friends and also alone time, relationship time, this and that. Everything kind of needs to stay balanced. But it is feeling like there are some things, like if you overwater a plant. Think about a plant too, like if you don't water it enough, it shrivels up and it dies. But if you overwater it as well, if you overgive to something, the plant will drown. So there is such a thing as giving too much love, right? To a plant, to yourself, right? So think about that. It's almost like, what are you giving too much to in your life? Maybe is there something you're giving too much to? Or is there something that you're not giving enough to in your life? Or vice versa, right? Maybe somebody doing this to you. So that's what I'm feeling for this deck. So I do hope this resonated with you. And let's go to number 3. Let me get this back in the deck. Okay, so welcome to card number 3, for those of you who chose number 3. So let's see what your card is here. Okay, so we have Messenger. We have a little cardinal on here. All right, let me just kind of tune into this. It feels like you're waiting, or you're kind of like tuning into your intuition more. There's an energy here with this Messenger of, it feels like, how do I say this? You need to trust your intuition more. What you need to focus on most right now is your intuition. And it's feeling like you're waiting for a sign from God, from the universe, from spirit, of like maybe when to make a move. It's an energy of, I feel, trust that you're going to know something when the time is right. You also need to be receptive to it. It feels like what you need to focus on right now, most right now in your life, is kind of your own intuition. There's also an energy here of, okay, how do I say this? Now look what's ended up on the bottom of the deck after I shuffled before, the 4 of Pentacles. There's like an energy here of focusing, I feel, also on taking people for face value as well. It's kind of like an energy of, you can use your intuition right on people. Let's say, like people maybe going through this, that, and the other thing, right? But you also need to take them for face value, for who they are as well. It's kind of like when somebody has a good heart, right? But let's say their actions are not aligning up to that. Their actions are hurting people, right? So you kind of need to take that message and accept it. Now, there's also an energy here of, I don't know if it's like you're waiting to get a job, or like waiting for an offer on an apartment, on a house, to close a deal on something. Maybe you're trying to sell your house. Maybe you're trying to move from where you are. Maybe you're trying to change up your life, change up your living arrangement. There's an energy here of just trust, and the time you're going to know where you're going to go by your intuition. Your intuition's going to, it feels like you're going to get some kind of a sign. But it feels like you need to be receptive to it as well. There's a call here, I feel like, to pay attention to what is going on around you. Pay attention, communicate very effectively. But communicating effectively also means it's okay. It's of course you communicating effectively, but it's also with communication. There is also listening as well. So you need to like listen. Feels like pay attention to what people say right now. Pay attention to what people ultimately do. Okay, let's get some tarot here. I'm gonna go with this. Okay, the Queen of Wands. Three of Wands. There's a very strong energy of pay attention to what people do, what people are doing around you, what people are doing. You need to focus on rather, oh God, not, because I'm not saying focus on other people. It's more like if you're looking for an answer or if you want an answer, maybe, maybe you're trying to delve into why somebody's doing what they're doing, okay? If it's something hurtful or toxic or shady, right? Does it really, it's almost like it's an energy of try not to look too deeply into it. And if you do, it's kind of like don't use that to, I don't know, like coddle it or like make excuses. It's more like an energy of take someone for face value. Take like their actions show who they are. Justice. I don't know, for some of you, I'm almost feeling like it's an energy of focus on like why. Maybe if you're like awaiting communication from somebody who you've been in no contact with, there's almost an energy of ask yourself like why you want that contact from them. Like, or focus on like maybe how much time you're putting into waiting is what I want to say. Like, are you waiting or are you living in the meantime? There's also an energy here of maybe praying for somebody, hoping that they get your message, or a lot of you, it feels like you're in deep contemplation, like deep prayer, deep spirituality. But there is an energy, I feel like what I want to say is if you focus too much on that, you may get lost in it. See, so there's an energy. Remember, anything in excess is toxic. So what I'm feeling like, it's an energy of maybe you could be looking too deeply into something and it may be leading you astray. It may be leading you, like you may be missing opportunities. So what I'm feeling like is there's a need to kind of maybe focus on, what I want to say is like letting go, waiting, kind of like live your life in the meantime. Because if you don't, it's kind of like there's an energy of instability here. It's kind of like know that some things are meant to be and be okay with that. And there are some things that kind of are, life is a little unstable in a way, and you need to kind of learn how to be with that, to live with that. Yeah, see, there's an energy, it's almost like an energy with this Ace of Swords. I feel like kind of cutting out or like balancing out your connection, almost like your intuition, like listen to your intuition, yes, but if you're always, I don't know, like looking for too much meaning in something or addicted, I almost want to say like addicted to it, it's an energy of you're going to lose yourself. So focus, I feel, actually, yes, on your intuition, but also living in the meantime. That's what I want to say. I almost want to say it's kind of like a little logic is needed here too, to kind of balance out your intuition. Use your intuition wisely. Okay, so that feels like what I want to say. Yeah, you see, because this is what happens if you get too much into energy, too much into your emotions. This is what can happen. Okay? So that's what I feel, and I do hope this reading resonated with you. Okay? Have a beautiful, beautiful week, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye now.